You're tracking views, but that's not what tells you whether the algorithm is liking and sharing your video. The real metric to pay attention to is impressions. And I know there's confusion between those two. Hey, I'm Orit from Essetino Media. I'm a YouTube for Business strategist. And in this video, we're going to talk about the difference between views and impressions, how these two impact your growth, and how you can use that data to get better results on YouTube. So let's dive in. Now, there's many places where you can see views versus impressions on your channel. The main place I like to go to is in my YouTube dashboard under the Analytics tab in the Content, and make sure the All tab is selected here. Now, when you scroll down, you'll see what looks like a little funnel. And this funnel is really important because at a glance, it will tell you how many views you're getting from the impressions. Now, what's the difference between those two? So impressions are the number of times YouTube's algorithm shows your video to a certain group of people, right? It could be in the search results, it could be in the browse or the suggested feed, it could be in someone's home feed. So to give you an example, over the last 28 days on our channel, our videos have been shown 406,000 times, over 406,000 times. So those are impressions. It's how much it's been shown. Now, views are how many people actually clicked on the video and watched for at least 30 seconds. So that's important to note because it could, and it doesn't even have to be by the way, the first 30 seconds. It could be, but maybe they clicked on a chapter and they started watching from there. That counts as a view as well, but at least 30 seconds. So views are someone clicking and watching your video for at least 30 seconds. Impressions is just showing up on their screen and basically waiting for them to click on the video and turn that into a view. So views happen after impressions, and this is why it's in this funnel way, right? Impressions are top of funnel. And this is a key difference because your number of impressions is telling you whether your videos are even showing up for people. Because if you're noticing a low number of views on your videos, you might take a look at your impressions and notice that YouTube's algorithm isn't really recommending your content, in which case you need to revise your content strategy. So it's a way to diagnose what's happening. Alternatively, if you are seeing that your videos are getting a lot of impressions, but you're not getting very many views, then this is telling you that YouTube is recommending your content, but people aren't clicking on the video to watch. And this comes from having better thumbnails, having better titles, and really paying attention as well, even to those first 30 seconds in your video so that they stay longer and watch at least 30 seconds. So those are a few things that you could take a look at. Now, here's a couple things to keep in mind, which will relate to how you can use this data to better improve or get better results on your channel. And I'll do this using an example. So let's go over here. The first thing to keep in mind is that the number of impressions that you see is only on YouTube. It's only telling you whether these impressions are happening on YouTube. And I say that because sometimes you'll find a video like, let's say, for example, like this over here, where it's showing 179 impressions. So it showed up in the feed, in which, it could be, again, search results, browse, suggested, home feed. It showed up 179 times in the last 90 days, but there's over 1,400 views on the video. And so you might look at that and be like, well, that doesn't make sense. Don't there need to be more impressions in order for there to be views? The answer is not necessarily if those views are coming from a different source. So I guarantee you, if I go and look at the analytics for this particular video, it's going to show me that a lot of those views are coming from, not from YouTube, but from somewhere else. My guess is Google, because I know a lot of our views come from Google since our content is very search-based. But let's take a look at the reach here, and you can see 92% of the traffic is coming from an external source. So it's not necessarily that, YouTube is pushing this out and we're getting lots of views from YouTube, but if I'm diving into this deeper, we can see that it's going to be coming from Google, or rather you could see it on the other end here. So you can see a majority of this traffic is coming from the Google search. So that's one thing to keep in mind. You do want to aim, of course, for getting as much impressions as you can, because that means that YouTube is doing the work for you in promoting your videos and in showing it to more people. And that's a really cool hands-off method, right? Rather than you having to share your videos on every single platform with other people. So it's always really important to be in competition with yourself and see how many impressions did you get in the last month versus the month before, or in the last 90 days versus the previous 90 days. And I'll show you where you can do that. So if I'm back here in my analytics dashboard and I click on the advanced mode button at the top here, I'm going to be able to see, like, you can change this date range to whatever, right? Let's just say March. I want to see the impressions and views in March and how that compared to the previous period, so February, right? So we can see here that in February, we got about 4,000 more views than in March. And if I want to see the amount of impressions, I can go over here and click on impressions and see that we got more impressions, about 60,000 more impressions in February than in March. And so what you want to do is you want to look at this data and see, again, be in competition with yourself. No, not like, oh, this person is getting this many impressions and I'm not, so what's going on? It's every single niche is different. So what you want to do is, if you're not seeing you're getting a lot of impressions, it simply means that the algorithm isn't really understanding who your audience is. And that could be for a wide range of reasons. But the focus there for you is content strategy. So how can you create videos that really speak to your audience and who you're targeting, and consistently create videos around that topic so that you're training the algorithm to understand, oh, this person is talking about social media tips or whatever it is, right? And so if they're talking about that, I'm going to show it to these viewers over here because they have already engaged with social media tips and they might like this video. The other thing that you can do with this information is, I'm just going to click out of this and then go back into advanced mode and show you, is you want to look out for the videos that have pretty high impressions but low views, because that is going to tell you, as I mentioned before, that the algorithm is sharing your videos, but people aren't really clicking on the video. And so, let's find an example here. So you can see here something like this. This is getting over 10,000 impressions in the last 28 days and 979 views. So you can see here, all these videos got way more views with fewer impressions. And that is because the thumbnail, the click-through rate, right? The thumbnail and the title produced a higher click-through rate, right? The percentage of people clicking on the video that turned into views. That's what this tells you. So for these videos that have high impressions and low views, that's an opportunity for you to go and test out a different thumbnail. I typically don't change out titles just because our titles are mainly optimized for search, so I don't want to typically touch those. But the thumbnail does way more importance anyways. It's the visual piece that people see first. So you want to A/B test a different thumbnail, and I have a separate video on how to do that, which I'll link for you in the description. So to recap some key takeaways for you, if you're watching this and you are, let's say, fairly new to YouTube and you're seeing quite low impressions on your videos, then what I want you to focus on is your content strategy, and staying consistent with releasing videos on that particular topic that you want to be known for. Because again, that's going to train the algorithm to associate you with a certain niche, a certain topic, and show it to more people. Now, again, there's other variables involved, like the algorithm looks at, have people who did watch it, do they engage with your video, etc. But you're going to look into those other analytics later, because all that matters is you want to get people through the top of the funnel. So that's what you're going to look at. Impressions, is it low? Let me tweak my content strategy. If you've been on YouTube for a while, you've been releasing content and your views are low, but you are seeing that you're getting like thousands of impressions, then what I want you to focus on is your thumbnails. Work on getting a better click-through rate, which is right here. This is the metric that you want to be in competition with yourself to improve. So try to increase it by 1% for next month and see what happens. And if you're watching this and you want a more personalized YouTube strategy call, you want to get on a one-on-one call together, or check out some of our other resources for growing your YouTube channel, I'll link to those in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.